Buenos dias. I'm going to give you 2 seconds to find a seat because we have a wonderful presentation. We got to get started. All right. Feliz Dia de la Amistad. Happy Valentine's Day to all of you. I hope that you are having a wonderful second day of the NABE conference. Show me a shout if you've been having a good time and learning a lot. All right. My name is Dr. Cristina Alfaro. I am the chair of the Department of Dual Language and English Learner Education at San Diego State University, and it is my pleasure to serve as your Master of Ceremonies for today's general session. I would like to welcome Dr. Javier de la Torre from Santa Clara County Superintendent, one of our honorary conference chairs, to welcome Dr. de la Torre.
Thank you, Dr. Alfaro. Buenos días. Espero que todos amanecieron bien. And welcome to California, to the land of the solar vortex. You like that, huh? I don't mean to be indelicate or insensitive to those from the East Coast, but it certainly is nice to be here, even for us from Northern California. We're all enjoying the weather. I'm privileged to serve as one of the honorary conference chairs, and I'm proud of our efforts in Santa Clara County and at the Santa Clara County Office of Education in promoting biliteracy and multilingualism. I can truly say, and I'm convinced, that we are making a difference in the lives of children and students throughout Santa Clara County with this effort. Our wonderful County Office of Education in Santa Clara, the staff genuinely and passionately believes in the vision of biliteracy and multilingual education. I have benefited personally my entire life from being both bilingual, biliterate, and bicultural. And it's something that I'd love to share with every child and every student in every school throughout the country. The passion is reflected at this conference with the Santa Clara team members who are presenting, serving on committees, or otherwise supporting the conference in various ways under the direction of our wonderful Dr. Yi Wan, internationally known and recognized. Western Region Representative to the NABE Executive Board and our Director of Multilingual Education Services at the Santa Clara County Office of Education, and we're thrilled to have her, and I know NABE is thrilled to have her. I know I'm preaching to the choir when I tell you that in the 21st century, biliteracy and multilingualism are essential to global competence and to preparing students for a world that is significantly different than the world that awaited us when we left school. Students today are far more connected to their peers around the world than at any other time in the history of man. That is why the Santa Clara County Office of Education has committed itself to nurturing lifelong learners who will thrive in this ever-changing global economy. Thank you for your shared vision that instructional programs that promote the study of languages and cultures play a key role in providing access for traditionally underserved, underrepresented students and provide better academic and social outcomes for all students. Students who are bilingual and multilingual will have a strong foundation for success in a variety of career paths and will contribute greatly to the vitality and prosperity of our country. They will have a distinct advantage in social, cultural, and economic exchanges as they truly will represent the global citizen. Again, thank you all for everything you do every day toward attaining this goal, and let's continue to all work together, and that is on display at this conference. And happy Valentine's Day to all of you. Have a nice evening. Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Dr. de la Torre. I would like to ask Dr. Hodge, NABE board member, and Dr. Badia, legislative advisor to NABE, to come present the NABE Legislator Award.
Good morning, everyone. I am also bringing you greetings from Washington State. And we have several people who are from Washington State here, so let's give a cheer for them as well. NABE is especially honored to present the 2014 Legislative Award to Congresswoman Julia Brownley from the 26th Congressional District of California. She is being recognized for her committed and devoted commitment and advocacy to support immigrant students and also for seniors and veterans as well. In 2012, she sponsored the Seal of Biliteracy legislation that resulted in California being the first state in the union to provide a seal and recognition to students who could demonstrate biliteracy in more than one language. Because of her sponsorship, several other states had followed suit, and currently New York, Illinois, Texas, and have also have the legislation that honor students who are bilingual and bicultural. Washington, I'm very happy to announce that is also following suit, and next year we will have the same legislation. Florida, I understand, is on its way as well. In 2013, Congresswoman Brownley sponsored the legislation in Congress to ask Congress provide up to $10 million to help states that would start program to recognize students and give them the seal of biliteracy as well. Congresswoman demonstrated act of advocacy to recognizing that education is a civil rights issue for our time, and her aggressive effort to ensuring that immigrant seniors, veterans are protected, deserve this recognition today. And it is my pleasure to introduce Shelley Simcoe-Coleman, Executive Director of California Together, to accept this award on her behalf. I would like to invite Ms. Coleman to say a few words on behalf of Congressman Brownley.
Well, when we started our adventure in terms of creating the State Seal of Biliteracy, we had to carefully think about who would be the author of this bill. Because many of you are here from California, and you know, standing up for biliteracy in California was not going to be an easy lift, right? And so having the author that would make this a priority was a critical first step. And Congresswoman Brownley was at that time the chair of Assembly Education. And so we knew at least the bill would get out of her committee, right? We knew we would get out of the first committee. But it wasn't just that she was the chair of Assembly Ed. She really believed in this issue. And she really believed in the talents and the gifts that these students would offer to their community and to our state, and made it a priority bill. Legislators cannot send all of the bills that they want off to the governor. They have to choose out of the myriad of bills that they put in to the legislature what is going to be their priority bill that they are willing to trade and do whatever it takes to get to the governor's desk and get a signature. And the State Seal of Biliteracy was that bill for her. I was so excited that I was able to go to the inauguration this last time and go see Julia in her office. And I went into her office, and she came out. She was so excited to see Californians, right, because she had just arrived also. And she said, you know, it's so great that you arrived today, because this morning I had a reporter come to the office and say to me, out of all of the things that you did in California, what do you think was the most important? And she said, you weren't there, but I said to them, it was the legislation on the state seal of biliteracy. So NABE could not have chosen a better person to recognize, and she couldn't be here with us, but if she was, she would tell you how proud she is of all the work that we're doing across the nation. Thank you so much.
Congratulations to Congressman Brownlee. Now it is my pleasure to introduce today's keynote speaker, Dr. Luis Cruz. He told me, you don't have to do a long introduction, just tell him I'm a guy from East LA, but his work deserves more than that. Okay. Dr. Cruz is a proud former principal of Baldwin Park High School, a school located in Baldwin Park Unified School District, approximately 20 miles east of Los Angeles. Several years ago, Dr. Cruz joined Dr. Anthony Mohammed's leadership, a consulting company, New Frontier 21, as an educational consultant, and has since then been traveling around the country showcasing the work that is collectively transforming Baldwin Park High School into an organization closing the achievement gap and saving student lives. As a result, Dr. Cruz has also gained notoriety as a passionate and motivating public speaker and educational consultant in the United States. Because of his enthusiasm, his humor, practical application, and sincere zest for student achievement, Dr. Cruz has become one of the most sought-after rising stars in the profession. It is my pleasure to introduce to you Dr. Cruz.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Buenos dias, NABE. It is Valentine's Day, folks. There's no love. What's wrong? I worked on that screen for an hour. I need everyone right now to look to your left, and if you're single, note the word single. Find that person you've been checking out and say, hey, happy Valentine's Day. Go ahead, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. That's right. It is Valentine's Day, and I am not with my wife. I am with you, and that's okay. Ladies and gentlemen, excited this morning. It is Friday, February 14th. We are rocking it in beautiful San Diego. NABE is in the house. You know, funny, I bumped into some of the folks from the other conference. You know, the Heart Association is here, lots of doctors and nurses. And I saw them talking last night, and I was listening in, and they asked me, what do you do? I said, I'm a public school educator. What do you guys do? I'm a doctor, I'm a nurse, I'm a doctor. I said, that's great. Yeah, we're the people that helped you become what you became. That's what I said. They bought me a shot. That's right. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to my beautiful wife of 14 years. I think the PowerPoint's supposed, there it is. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to why I'm also a happy man. There it is. 14 years of marriage, and I still love her. And she still loves me. My parents are from Ecuador. I'm an Ecuadorian. Her parents from El Salvador. Our daughter married a Mexican young man. We have our own little NABE going on in the Cruz household, ladies and gentlemen. I live around Asian folks. I know how to say ni hao mao, wa heng hao. I can break that down, ladies and gentlemen. And this is what we've done with our love, ladies and gentlemen. My 3 daughters, Anali, Maya, my oldest, Marina, has decided to go into nursing, ladies and gentlemen. And for years, I was the only male in the house. For years. We had termites once. The guy came down and said, your termites are female. Everybody's female in my house. And then this young man was introduced. Ladies and gentlemen, my grandson, Noah. Now, folks, Noah is the new male, and I am not going to be one of those guys who showcases every single picture of Noah as he grows up. That is like one of the most tacky things anybody can do. Who would do that? Who would showcase their grandson in the middle of a professional conference like this? I'm telling you, I would not do that. How that happened, I have no idea. Tomorrow, Noah turns 1. And I am not grandpa, I'm Tito, in honor of my grandfather. And he calls me abuelito. And he better, because you can tell, I'm going to be holding this kid. A cop is going to come up and say, "Is this okay?" And I need him to say, "Es mi abuelito, cuidado." That's what I need to happen, right? Where he got blue eyes from, I have no idea. But I love him, and this is my pride and joy. Hey, some other great news, Nabe people. Everyone was so focused on the headlines that, focused in on Kim and Kanye and their baby Noah. You might have missed it. This is why we're also celebrating Valentine's Day today. Ladies and gentlemen, it turns out poor kids can learn. I know! I was shocked. When I saw this, I said, oh my goodness. Yes, and here's the other one. Blew people's minds. English language learners are intelligent. Yes. Who would have known? Yes. Hey, and if you've never seen an English language learner all grown up, take a picture. This is what we look like. Yeah. It's amazing. Yeah. Hey, let me tell you que en un minuto puedo cambiar este discurso y lo hago todo en español porque todavía hablo español. No se preocupen, Cuba, Ecuador, Argentina, we're in the house. Y en un momento así, díganme nomás, and bam, I'm back to English. Look at that. And I write it and read it too. It's amazing what I can do. And here's the conclusion. We're always going to be English language learners. Have you figured that out yet? I discovered this in graduate school. In graduate school, I got sick. In graduate school, my roommate, who did not speak any Spanish, se llamaba Scott, good guy, came in and goes, "Oye, what's wrong with you, man? You don't look good." I said, "Oh, it hurts here and here. I need what my mommy used to put on my nose and my chest and my ears." And he looked at me and he said, "What is this?" I said, "It's called Viva Peru." And he looked at me and he said, "Viva Peru? Is that something you get from those curanderos?" And I said, "No, man. Viva Peru is sold at every store, dude. You got to go get me that." He said, "Do I got to go to East LA?" I said, "No, man." So pobrecito, he took off, came back 2 hours later. Man, I did not find no Viva Peru. But you know what I did find? Vicks Vapor Rub. The lady said, "This will just be fine." And you know what? You bastard, you made me walk around for 3 hours looking for Viva Peru. What's wrong with you? And then I get a doctorate. First doctor in the house. I'm trying to convince my parents, "Mom, Dad, I can't write prescriptions." But listen to me. I'm the principal at Baldwin Park High School. One of our very articulate English teachers approaches me one day and says, "Dr. Cruz, that is a beautiful Argyle sweater that you are wearing." And I said, "Thank you. Have a good day." Walked in my office, locked the door, closed the blinds, looked up Argyle. I grew up in LA, folks. We don't go around saying, "That's a beautiful Argyle." You know what we say? "That's a dope diamond sweater, brother." That's what we say. We got to feel it. In order to learn the language, it's got to become part of who we are. And guess what? All kids are capable. They can all do it. Now, how do I know this? Is it because I read one of Robert Marzano's weekly books? The man writes a book every week. It's incredible. Right? No, I lived it. I was the principal, proud principal of a school, Baldwin Park High School. And before that, I was the middle school principal at Holland Middle School. And before that, I was an elementary school principal. I've done all three. And I saw some amazing things. Where are the elementary people at? Where you at? Elementary people, you rock the house. Elementary people are, you know why we love our job at the elementary? Because when we need therapy, you know what we do? We go out to recess. And kids mug you because they love you. Elementary people, great pride in their classroom environment. These people will kill for borders. They love them some borders. It's amazing. Elementary people, very emotional. We're happy. We wear the Sesame Street tie, right? And then later on we cry. Why? Because, we just wanted to cry, right? And then they asked me to go to the middle school. I went out at recess. Not the same effect. Middle school people, quite possible. Where are you at, middle school people? Toward the back. I knew it, right? Middle school people, quite possibly one of the hardest jobs in education. You know why? Because those kids that loved you at elementary now hate you. Since they're going through puberty, you start going through puberty again. And we use sarcasm to let them know we love them. They don't get our sarcasm at the middle school level. Teacher, do you love us? Like a baby loves a diaper. Get to class, let's go, right? Then I got to high school. High school where they've never even heard of borders, right? Not all of you. Look at the high school people. I was liking them up until that point, right? High school people where we know everything. Luis, you know why we're in this mess? Because the middle school people didn't do their job. Middle school people. You know why we're in this mess, Luis? Because the elementary people are too happy. They didn't do their job. And watch this. We've never practiced this, but watch this. Elementary people, why are we in this mess? I'll tell you why we're in this mess. We're in the mess because of not even practice. Look at that. And then you say to the parents, ¿Qué pasó? They said, it was the tequila that one night. It was crazy, right? Ladies and gentlemen, all kids are capable, and in California, those of you that are Californians, you know what the API is, right? Also known as the Affluent Parent Index, yes? The API is how we measure growth. And in California, if you haven't heard, we had 5 categories that kids fell into. Advanced, right? Proficient, basic, below basic. And as if there could be anything lower, we came up with far below basic, right? Everyone else stopped at below basic. We went far below basic, right? There was talk about going far below basic, right? But over the years at Baldwin Park High School, a school not known for being an academic school, we were the athletic school. All of a sudden, we had evidence that, hey, our little kid, our cholitos and cholitas and our ELs and all these kids that come to our school, they can learn. And last night at the bar, I got together with the new awesome principal at BP High. And he says, Luis, you got to update your slides, baby, because we're still moving. And let me tell you why this is huge. Because they're moving without the principal having been there. This is not a Hollywood story of how I rode in on a white horse saying, I'm here to save the ELs. This was a group effort. And guess what we learned? Teacher leadership is a big deal in this world. And when teachers have a voice, some great things happen. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this was interesting because, see, in our community, there's another high school. Great high school, great principal, great teachers, but they were known as the academic high school. In fact, every year I would get about 200 requests from kids that were supposed to come to Baldwin Park High School that said, no, we don't want to come to your school, we want to go to the other school. And every year, the API was compared. And they were always killing us on that API. And then something happened. We began to see a change in the culture of our school. And here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. We began to understand that it's not the kids, it's the adults on campus that contribute to a school culture. It's not your clients, it's the people that work there, that live there, that create high expectations. You know what we did every year when our EL data would come in? We were nuts. Here's what we do. We'd go, hey, oye, mira, the ELs la fregaron otra vez, man. The ELLs did not do good again. And this is what we'd say. Tell me this isn't crazy. This is what we'd say. Man, I hope they get it together this year. as if the ELs are going to call a meeting. Dr. Cruz, can I get on the loudspeaker? I'd like to talk to the other EL students. We got to really do work better this year. We stopped doing that, and we started looking in the mirror. And then one year, what ends up happening is our API gets to that. And people start going, oye, ¿qué pasó? Baldwin Park High School? And the interesting thing was is that people were worried about the other high school. And we were like, how about giving us a little bit of love? And then the next year, it really hit the fan. Because that happened. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And you know what our teachers did? Our teachers learned the George Jefferson walk. Young kids in the audience, Google it. You'll get it later. We're moving on up. And they'd walk into faculty meetings with an attitude. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, look who's moving up in the world. And then the next year, Sierra Vista High School took off past us. And we were depressed. And I reminded everybody, we're not competing against another high school. We're competing against poverty. We're competing against low expectations. Applaud what they did because they work with the same kids. There's just a different culture down there, and we need to make sure we emulate that same teacher. Are you with me out there? That's what this is about, ladies and gentlemen. And here's the thing. It wasn't just the general population that was doing great. It was also the EL population. We were making gains there too. We had evidence that our kids were learning. But of all the things that made us proud, this was one of them. When we won Baldwin Park High School, if you were ever lower than where they need to be school, when we won the Golden Bell Award in California for having closed the achievement gap with our ELs, we knew we were onto something. We discovered that it couldn't just be done by a principal, by faculty and staff. We spread out. LACO. I had the pleasure of meeting Shelley Spiegel Coleman when I was 21 years old. And she was teaching me about the affective filter back then. And here she is, looking better than me later, still doing the same thing. You know what we decided to do? Something revolutionary. We applied what we learned. We actually decided to try some of the things we learned at these kind of conferences. And lo and behold, great things happened, including this, my friends. At Baldwin Park High School, the school known for shootings and fights and kids walking out, all of a sudden the press was talking about, hey, graduates could top record at school. Today, we have a 92% graduation rate. 92%. And let me tell you right now very quickly, our graduation rocks because we include elementary in our ceremony and middle school and high school. You know what we do? Get this. Tell me this isn't beautiful. 2,000, 3,000 people in the audience. There they are. And then a voice comes on because every faculty has got someone that sounds like a DJ, right? Ours got up there and he said, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Baldwin Park High School, home of the Braves. Today we not only celebrate 4 years of excellence, but excellence that began 13 years ago in local kindergarten classrooms throughout our district. Here to represent this journey, our future Baldwin Park High School Braves. Ladies and gentlemen, down on the field, pay attention, Jaime Cortez, kindergartner from Heath Elementary School. Ladies and gentlemen, a future graduate from the class of 2035. And there's Jaime, like this, shaking. Right? And he's got to raise his little kindergarten flag, and he does. And standing right behind him, guess who's there? His parents. And then it's the first graders, the second graders, the third graders. We have to give our kids a vision of what we're talking about. Every one of those kids has never been to a high school graduation, and now they know what they got to aim to. A little girl told, I'll never forget this little girl, yo quiero ser el valedictorian. Then, mija, you can be a valedictorian. You can and you will. That's what this is about, ladies and gentlemen. And here's the thing. This 92% graduation, we went from 74% to 92%, ladies and gentlemen. We rocked it because we learned that we are not in the business of just teaching, reading, and writing and being bilingual. I got to be straight with you. We are in the business of saving lives. That's why the American Heart Association next door needs to include us in their pamphlet. Because that's what we do. My life today is beautiful because I had a third grade teacher named Miss Whalen who decided that I would not lose my Spanish, but that I would add another beautiful language called English to that. That lady helped me go from the Buzzards to the Eagles in 1 year, my reading group. And I never lost my Spanish. My mom, who's here today, introduced me to my first ELD teacher. You might have heard of it. Sesame Street and Electric Company. Electric Company. You know where I learned phonemic awareness? With the lips. Remember them? Sailboat, sailboat. Summer. That's how I learned. Thank you, Mommy. Te quiero mucho. Right? So here's the thing. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the thing. We began our journey at Baldwin Park by first exploring this question. What are you about at your school? I remember it was the first day back from summer. That's the one day we're all happy, right? Blondes are brunettes, brunettes are blondes, right? People's lost weight. Everybody caught the Macy's sale, right? So we show up. And on that day, we're happy. You know why we're happy that day? Because the kids aren't back yet, right? And we look at each other. And I said to everybody, hey, everybody, today is going to be a special day. Today, I'm going to give $100 away. And they were like, woo, principal giving away money. It's going to be a great year. And I said, here's what I need. I need one person from each department to come up, and I'm going to ask you a question. And if you get this question, not only do you get $100 to take your entire department out to lunch, today, lunch will be an hour and a half. Over the summer, I heard Chris Rock, my favorite comedian, say, you know it's a bad state of affairs when the only two people in society that have a half-hour lunch are people in prison and teachers. So that day, we gave them an hour and a half. And you know what the veteran teachers did, right? They sent up the new teachers. Hey, new teacher, get up there. Come on, represent the math department. Represent the English department. So the new teachers were nervous, right? And then my secretary added to the plot. She said, oh, by the way, the winners will also receive 10 reams of paper for your department. Yeah, look at this. This was the reaction. Ah! And we knew they were going to take it seriously. You know why? They called back the new teacher. Hey, new teacher, this just got real. Come back. No. Come back. Hey, you went to Harvard. You go. And this is the question I asked them. Write down our mission statement. And this was their reaction. Oh, shoot. I don't know. All kids can learn. Technology rules. Lifelong learners. Nobody got it. Now, the reason we didn't get it was because it was a little unclear back then. It was kind of long, and the English department worked on this in preparation for WASC back in 2005. And so we decided, let's stop being hypocrites. Let's get together at Luis's house. And we did. There's the famous picture back in 2006. When we got together and we started having a serious discussion about what is it we're all about? What is it why do we have to be a group of people that shares a parking lot but then does whatever they want to do in their own classroom? Maybe there's a better way of doing this. Maybe there's a better way of figuring this out. And for 3 months, we worked on a mission statement. 3 months. And in the end, this is what we came up to graduate all students with high levels of academic and personal achievement ready for post-secondary excellence through research-based instruction in a collaborative system of support. Did I get it right still? Still know it. And ladies and gentlemen, here's what made us revolutionary. We had a mission statement, but now we had to live it. Because there's certain words there that are open to interpretation, like the word all. See, all doesn't mean the kids that want to learn. All means even the kids that don't want to learn. Those kids, even that child that just came into 10th grade and cannot speak a word of English, that kid too is going to graduate. And if we have to move heaven and earth for it to happen, then so be it. But we're going to make it happen. It's as simple as that. So we did something revolutionary. We started living the mission. And we started not making excuses for why they can't learn. We started taking all these things that leaders have been teaching us for years, and we started applying it. Dr. Lori Olson, is she in the house? Dr. Olson, you'll see her later. She taught us the importance of listening to your ELs and looking for messages of what they need to be successful. Who knew that talking to the kids might be helpful? Ladies and gentlemen, later on today, I'll share exactly the kind of the things we did. But all I can tell you is that those people, and let me keep this presentation real, there were people that weren't cool with this. There were people that said, and they said, we're out. And some of them did it professionally, and some of them did not. And some of them had to be told, this is not the job for you. Because let's kid ourselves, we're not all about this. They were good people, don't get me wrong, but they were not about this. We needed a team of people to practice, here's something interesting, leadership. Have you heard of this word? It's fascinating. Everyone thinks they know what it is. They look at pictures of Dr. Martin Luther King, right? And they say, that's a leader. Or they look at Rosa Parks and they say, that's a leader. And thank God I'm in California, because when I show the next picture on the East Coast, they all think, oh, Luis threw his uncle up there, right? Cesar Chavez, true or false? Leader. What made them so leader-esque? What made them such huge leaders? Here's what made them some huge leaders. You know what they did? They practiced the following. They influenced people. They made people believe. See, here's what happens in our profession. We work so hard, and we're on a fast-moving freight train that never stops, true or false, people, that sometimes we lose that moral imperative that led us to do this work in the first place. See, and all that data that we're looking at that is so critical, because we believe at Baldwin Park High School, in God we trust, everyone else needs data. That was our motto. And we looked at data. And you know what we did, though? We humanized our data, because here's what we've done. Sometimes we forget that all those stats and charts and pie charts actually represent kids. So we would have our kids come in to our faculty meeting and present. This is what helps us learn. This is why we were successful. We studied leadership, and then you know who confirmed that leadership was important? This guy. You know this guy. Dr. Marzano. This man doesn't write anything that can't be scientifically proven. I bet you he's writing his wife a love letter tonight with citations, right? Fascinating individual. This man says, hey, by the way, effective school leadership is huge, but here's the distinction. It's not about one person. Effective leadership at a school is a group of people working together to achieve things. And so that meant that I, as the principal, could not do this alone. I needed people like my man Julio Nunez in the audience, who we hired and made some incredible things happen at our school. We needed teachers to come in and become excited. We needed to give them the space. Are you out there? We needed to give them the time to do this work. And we figured it out. And great things happened, my friends, and we became this, a team. Now, I am not into NASCAR, no offense, but when cars pull up to the pit stop, that is something to watch. These people are a team. Here's how I like to put it. We're all outside in the lobby of the hotel. We walk into an elevator. Are we a group or are we a team? We're a group. Elevator breaks down, what do we become? A team. Because all of a sudden, there's a focus, isn't there? Get off this darn elevator quickly, right? We became a team, ladies and gentlemen. Check out the picture here. Look at everybody knows what they're doing. Look at his picture. Do you see the words, but they don't speak English? Do you see, but they don't read? No, they're determined to make something happen. And you know what they want to do? They want to confront what's called the pink elephant. And the pink elephant at our school was our English learners are not learning. Stop pretending that some kind of magic dust is going to be sprinkled and they're going to change. Let's assemble our own NASCAR pit crew to do something about this. Now, it got started with the LA County Office of Ed. By the way, huge resource for us. LA County Office of Ed introduced us to the power of collaboration between, ready for this, Department of Educations. Maybe there was something we can learn from each other. Well, we took that energy and we assembled the English Learner Task Force. And already on the team, the principal that called it Viva Peru. And then I met Rosa Diaz, an English teacher who decided, you know what? I'm sick and tired of our ELs not making the grade. Let's figure some of that stuff they teach us about and see how we can apply it. Are you with me out there? Then we needed an ELD teacher. We needed an ELD teacher that rocked because you know what? ELD teachers oftentimes are people who studied English. So we think that because they teach English to kids who know English, that they should be eligible to teach ELD as well. Yeah, wrong. There's a difference between kids who know academic English and who are learning academic English. Are you with me out there? There's a difference. So you'll never believe what we did. We hired someone from the elementary ranks at the high school level. Yeah, interesting. You know what happened? We were having our interview. This guy comes in, Jesus Gutierrez, and we're interviewing him. And we ask him, why do you want to teach ELD? This is high school. He says, because I want to make sure that kids like me make it. Because I know that with the right kind of synergy, we can make something happen. And I think, and he starts crying during the interview. Now, why do you think he started crying? He's from the elementary. That's what they do, right? And guess what? I almost started crying myself. My elementary almost came out. And I got excited. This guy said everything that we needed to hear. And then, ready for this? I look at the high school team assembled and I say, what you guys think? Their response, I don't know, Cruz, he's a crier. At the high school, we make people cry. We don't, next thing you know, this guy's gonna want borders, and we don't do that, Thank God we hired Jesus Gutierrez. Jesus Gutierrez, who, by the way, last year was the teacher of the year for the entire school district. Yeah. And then we hired a parent liaison that likes parents. Probably should be part of the criteria to be a liaison. We hired two amazing counselors. Mrs. Ramirez joined us, and Dr. Alejandro Segura Mora became our guide. And he helped us figure out how it is we get level 3s to write, and how it is possible when we all work together. All I can tell you is that we worked hard. For years, for several years, we looked at that stuff they taught us and we applied it. And we failed and we got back up, and we failed and we got back up, and then something happened. We got together and really pronounced what we were here to do, and you'll never believe what we learned from Dr. Lori Olson. She said, listen here, kids. And so our man, Jesus Gutierrez, created something called the Student Voices video that when you go to YouTube and type in Baldwin Park High School ELD Voices, you can watch. These kids told us, when you do this stuff while you're teaching, called TPR, I guess, it works. We are able to get input that's comprehensible. And when we have visuals and we practice things like, ready for this, preview, review, yeah, that stuff works too. And we love the fact that you've not only lowered the affective filter in the classroom, you've lowered it school-wide. Our kids began to embrace coming to school, a school that was embracing the beautiful languages they already spoke. And they understood that while they taught us Spanish and Mandarin and Cantonese, we would teach them academic English. And that culture thrived. And then all of a sudden, we looked at the data. That's where we were, and the next year, that's what happened. When we looked at English language proficiency, when we looked at CELT at the advanced and early advanced and then look at our reclass, we had nowhere to go but up. And when reclassification took off, we knew we were onto something. And I'll never forget, Rosa Diaz, our leader, celebrated the fact that we began to close that achievement gap. And my friends, we also decided to do this. Feed the teachers and celebrate our accomplishments, because if you don't feed the teachers, they'll eat the students. When our reclassification hit 25%, passing up California, oh, we partied like it was 1999. Anybody know Prince? Yeah, we did it that way. If you don't stop once in a while to acknowledge the good work that we've done, you know what we become? Zombies. And then we get an attitude, and we become frustrated. Are you with me out there? Ladies and gentlemen, we discovered the power of what it is to make great things happen. And here's the thing. We were reminded about the fact that this woman, Crystal Kirkendall, says that educators are in the business of saving lives by becoming what she called merchants of hope. She said merchants of hope are people that let and remind kids, you can do this. Now, I love what Sanger Unified up north says. They said, hope is not a strategy, but it's part of the ingredients. And ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you that the lady that I met was the best example of someone who practiced this was Karen White at Holland Middle School, still there. White woman, doesn't speak any Spanish, but you know what? She wanted our kids to be successful. She walked around with a little limp like this. She was older, but she met this kid when he was in 6th grade, Richard Gallegos. And Richard Gallegos got handed a bad card. His mom took off because she fell in love with some guy when he was in 5th grade, left him to be raised by 3 dysfunctional sisters. This kid had every reason in the world not to make it. And this kid grows up. Here he's kind of cute, 6th grader, cute little baby face. He grows up to be kind of scary looking. 6'3", could not get the kid to want to play basketball because the shorts are too short. Give me a break. This kid starts hanging with the wrong crowd. But you'll never believe what Karen White started doing with him back at the middle school. She started bringing him into the library every day after school. And you know what she did? She had cookies and milk for him, and they did his homework. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, thank you. I'm sweating because it's Nabe. That's why I'm sweating. Karen White did not give up on this kid. Every day, are you with me out there? Into the library, let's work on what you need to work on. And she caught him right where he was still being able to be influenced, yes? And he leaves the middle school, goes to the high school, and every day after high school, the kid never got in trouble because as much as his homeboys were saying, hey man, let's go and hang out, he'd say, gotta go. Guess where he'd go? He'd walk 45 minutes back to the middle school where she was an aide, and there was Karen ready to help him with his homework. Richard would go back to Karen White every day. And he hung with a tough crowd, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, this was the crowd he hung out with. These are some of our boys at Baldwin Park High School. Beautiful young men. One day I approached them on a Friday. My wife was taking my girls out for mommy and daughter only night. I don't have any sons. My grandson wasn't around. My dad, who's here as well, Papi Te Quiero, wasn't here. And you know what I decided to do? I walked up to these boys and said, hey, what are you guys doing tonight? And they said, we're just chilling in Baldwin Park, Cruz. What about you? I said, you know what? I want to chill with you guys. Are you serious, Cruz? Yeah, I'm serious. Órale, I said. As a South American, I say órale pretty good, huh? I said, órale. Hey, but let me tell you something. I said, let me take you guys out in my car. And let's get out of Baldwin Park. Let's go explore other areas. I said, Cruz, are you serious? I said, I'm serious. I'll be here at 7. This is us. I took a picture of the event. I asked them to smile. That's what they gave me. We took off in my 8-seater Toyota Sequoia, and we went to, of all places, Rodeo Drive in Beverly Hills. We stood out. People were clutching their purses as we walked by them. I was the leader. The kids looked at the restaurant and said, Cruz, you're going to pay for all this, right? I said, yeah. Look how much food they give us, Cruz. Chale, let's go somewhere else. So we went to the Universal City Walk Tony Roma's, a great place for ribs. And we sat down, broke bread, and in front of me, these tough kids became little kids with dreams, aspirations. And they found out that I grew up in a neighborhood just like them, and that I got in trouble too. I even got suspended for fighting. Remember, Mom and Dad? And they were, Cruz, you're Dr. Cruz. I go, doesn't mean I was a saint. But let me tell you something. Today, my life is a lot better because I did something that a lot of my friends didn't do. We connected that day, and we went on, and we had a relationship now, and you'll never believe what happened to Richard. Richard's attire changed over the years. Richard went from this young man to this young man in 2007. It's not because the principal took him out. It's because Karen White, an instructional aide, said, on my watch, this kid will not fail. Karen White is what she referred to as a merchant of hope. And Karen White, by the way, is also half amphibian. She's this frog in the picture. See, we need to leave Nabe. We need to leave Nabe with web feet. Are you with me out there? We cannot leave this conference and go back to business as usual. Because, my friends, this is what it's about. Now, here's the thing. Let's get real for a moment. I got to break this. This is how I'm feeling right now. We've done something very interesting to this word. I travel all over the country now. And I've always looked at the word ELL as a badge of pride. Guess what? Not everyone sees it as a badge of pride. I meet with teachers, good intentioned teachers, that look at their roster at the beginning of the year and say, oh God, I got 12 EL kids. What have we done to this word? You know what we need to do when we leave this conference? We need to get serious about promoting, not just with the people here that agree with everything we're saying, but with the people out there. And start letting them know, hey, you know what? 2 or 3 or 4 is better than 1. That's what we got to do. And I'll tell you right now who's doing an amazing job of doing this, AT&T. AT&T has got us all convinced bigger is better. Because we see these commercials, and because we still have our moral imperative, you know what happens to us? We become excited when we see this, right? Oh, this is a new one, new kid, watch this, watch this. And I'm convinced those kids aren't acting. They're being themselves. But now this commercial has got everyone out there saying, hey, bigger is better. I don't know where I got that from, but let me go to the AT&T store. We have to do this. Not just with us, but with people out there who have no clue. And here's what I'm proposing. Maybe we got to change that ELL title. Maybe we need to become FBABs, Future Bilingual and Beautiful Students. Right? Or how about this one? This one's a good one. BLTs, Bilingual Leaders of Tomorrow. See, if we begin to unpollute the word that so many of us have polluted, maybe people will begin to see that this is a good thing, right? And when they grow up, these kids will be able to say, hey, man, because of my bilingual education, I became an SBIAB. I am sexy because I'm bilingual, right? My friends, here's the thing. These are the kind of advertisements we're going to need. Are you with me out there? And we can't just keep preaching noir. We should get together every year, and there should be 10,000 people here today. There shouldn't be no 2-3 grand, 3,000. There's 10,000 people here. We need to start a movement when we go back and begin in your community, letting people know that bilingual is better, letting them know, keep calm and be bilingual. We have to do a better job of not just educating our children, but of advertising. With shirts, with commercials. Where were we when the Super Bowl was around? That would have been great. I'm telling you right now, this is what's going to be needed if we're going to move forward. And what perfect timing. We have a global economy. Well, in this global economy, it's going to help if you speak other languages. It's going to help if you keep your language and acquire others. Here's what I know. We need to stop being insane, doing the same thing and wanting different results. Are you with me out there? We got to stop being organizationally insane, because this is what we were doing at BP High. The ELs really messed it up this time. Hope they do better this time. What is that? We can't have that, ladies and gentlemen. And let me tell you what we discovered. Success is not going to look like this. Success is going to look like this. We are going to fail. We're going to get back up, and then we're going to find. I was hearing Shelley Spiegel-Coleman speak earlier about how they tried some things and it didn't work, but it gave them the tenacity to try harder and better. That's what we need to do. That's what we need to do, my friends. So I ask you, are you going to fall into the knowing-doing gap? Because we discovered that we are able to do some great things when we don't fall into the knowing-doing gap. Baldwin Park Unified recently received this from Ed Trust. This year, the highest overall grade of a B is earned by Baldwin Park Unified. In Baldwin Park, low-income students posted 5-year gains of 102 API points, far exceeding the average gains of 64. You see, it can happen, and we need to make it happen in every community around this country. Are you with me out there, Nabe? That's what we got to make happen. This is my hero, Miss Whalen, my 3rd grade teacher. This is the lady that made it happen for me. This woman took a kid who spoke Spanish and said, don't lose your Spanish, but we're going to teach you academic English. And every time I travel all over the country, especially when I'm in places like Wisconsin or Missouri, I'm looking for a little white woman that I can go down there and hug and say thank you to. We are in the business of saving lives, which is why I got into this business in the first place. There I am. Why are you laughing? Thank God they invented contacts, man. I entered the best profession, ready for this, in 1989 because a woman named Ana Perez, who I hear is somewhere out in Texas, heard me speak Spanish at Lucky's Supermarket and said to me, Oye, tú hablas español muy bien. Have you ever thought about being a teacher's aide? And I said, no. I'm a courtesy clerk at Lucky's Supermarket. I might make, produce one day. And she saw in me more than just being in charge of the produce department. And she took me under her wing, and she said, I need you to take this test. And next thing I know, I was an instructional aide, my 1st grade class, ladies and gentlemen. That sweater will come back in style one day. Long live the 80s. Who's out there? Yes. That's right. Hey, she's got my sweater. She's got my sweater. You are my sister. Me and you, Culture Club and Depeche Mode later on tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the kids that changed my life. I found my moral imperative. Whenever I start losing it, I look at this picture. She became a teacher in LA Unified. This one right here went on to become a nurse, lawyer, don't know what happened to him. These kids changed my life. And every one of you in here still has the moral imperative. You know what we have to do once in a while? Is we just got to dust it off and remind ourselves that we are in the business of saving lives. That's what we do. Ladies and gentlemen, I became Dr. Cruz in 2008, and my girls were at my graduation. Miss Whalen, that 3rd grade teacher, had no idea that she wasn't just making a life impact, she was making a generational impact. And let me tell you right now, all 3 of my girls speak Spanish. Okay? That's my other language, right? Marina, my nurse, we talk Spanish. Annalise speaks Spanish. And let me tell you, my little güero grandson is going to speak Spanish. It's going to keep me out of jail when I'm with him. This is what it's about. This is the message I have for you today. And here's what I predict, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to take this message and we need to start a massive fire all over the country, promoting, using marketing skills, informing people that bigger is not just better. 2 languages and 3 languages better than 1. And I'm talking all kids. I'm so proud to have been affiliated with Baldwin Park High School. Julio, would you stand up for a minute, please? I don't want to embarrass you. This is one of our teacher leaders at that school, ladies and gentlemen. This man comes to Baldwin Park High School and he says, Luis, what if we start a Chicano studies class at the high school level? What if we start a Chicano literature class at the high school level? Why do kids have to wait until college to find out they were part of history the whole time? He made that happen. All I did as the principal was say, go for it. That's what I did. Leadership is in this room, not just with the administrative team, but with every single person, classified, certificated. We all share a responsibility. And here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. This is what's going to happen. We're going to make some things happen. Next year, NABE is not going to be 2,000 strong. It's going to be something like 5,000 or 6,000 strong. Because you guys are all going to go back and you're going to say, listen, we need to figure out what we need to do. And it's going to start a movement that's going to reach the White House. Amen. And this is what we're going to see advertised on Newsweek magazine one day. Obama joins NABE, prepares to become bilingual by the end of 2014. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Cruz. I'm Margarita Pecos. I come from the state of Florida, and I also claim a good friendship with Dr. Cruz. He came to our district, and he just set our district on fire. The principals and the teachers and everybody got so excited. So I'm glad he did that. And, you know, sometimes people say that we are the voice of the voiceless, that we are the voice of the students. They're not voiceless. They have us. So hopefully the thoughts and the inspiration that Dr. Cruz has left with us today, in this day, in this Valentine's Day, would continue to resonate in our ears so that it becomes a song of love and the song of hope for our students so that they become successful and we can replicate those examples. Now, I want to show Luis the love of NABE, and I want to give him a little token so that he remembers us, and he always remembers that he inspired us to make things even better. So help me to congratulate him.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, I just want to thank two more people, my mom and dad who are here. And I get emotional when I talk about them, but they're the reason we're so successful. Mom, Dad, love you, los quiero mucho. Muchas gracias.
I wanted to make a few announcements. I know we're running late. I'm sure you haven't heard that before. Because we have to clear the room, but I do have to make a few announcements. The first announcement is that the NABE 2014 poster will be available at the NABE booth after this session. Sal Barajas, who's the artist, he will be available to sign it. And some of you, as me, have their offices plastered with NABE posters from the past. So I'm sure that you're going to want that. And so please make sure you go and pick your poster. We also wanted to let you know a very important announcement. There's going to be 3 positions available on the board to select 3 more people, or to continue to have these people. So the nomination for these positions are going to be available at the NABE booth. We have 3 positions open, the 3 regional representatives, one from the west, one from the central, and one from the east. Pick them up at the NABE booth, but I wanted to make sure that you remember that they must be submitted by law within 2 weeks of the conference. So your deadline to submit your nominations would be March 3rd. So please put it in your calendars and make sure you submit great names. I also wanted to make one last announcement. On your program on page 75, there is a presentation by Anita Pandy, and she's not going to be able to make it because of the weather. She got stuck somewhere in the snow. Hopefully somebody pulled her out already. And but Alma Florada, Dr. Alma Florada, who was here yesterday, who's a wonderful icon to all of us, she has been so gracious to be able to do the same presentation that Anita was going to do. And so it's going to be at 4 p.m. this afternoon. So again, thank you, and thank you, Dr. Cruz. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Cruz. You have given us a great gift. Thank you.